Yo, what is going on, you guys? This is King Froggy, and welcome back to another Metalhead Reacts. So this is Akala Fire in the Booth Part 2. See, I had the lyrics pulled up on my laptop, as I always do normally. And the last time I did this, the lyrics stopped after the first part. So I thought maybe the rest of it was just the announcer guy talking to him or asking him questions and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, guess that's the end of it. And then you guys blew up my comment section. It's not finished. You forgot part 2. You missed part 2. Yeah, I realize, okay? Calm down. Everyone makes mistakes. Okay, so I went back to the lyrics. There still was not a second part. So, luckily, thanks to Child of Diaspora, I believe that's how you say your name, you were kind enough to actually put the lyrics in my comment section. So, thank you so much. Guys, you guys can thank Child of Diaspora for giving me the lyrics. So, this is Fire in the Booth Part 2. So let's dive into it. Luckily, this may be a short video. Don't know. I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's go.
Yo, little story. Let's take him down. Yo, listen. Yo.
I know you gonna dig this.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely, but absolute powerlessness does the same. It's not the poverty, it's the inequality we live with every day that will turn us insane. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, but absolute powerlessness does the same. It's not the poverty, it's the inequality we live with every day. Yo, listen. In a scheme of living, my life wasn't hard, but as far as Britain goes, I practically starved. Sleeping in a tracksuit, gas meter running out, electric cut off as well, candles lighting up the house. Looking in my mother's eyes, I see how she feels. The strain and the pain of just paying bills that ain't real. And that's how I grew, like so many more. And that was part of who I am very sure. You wanna know the rage I feel in my stomach? No, my mom and dad split up when I was still in her stomach. And not everything that happened I will put in 16s, but I will tell you enough so you will know what I mean. My boy's mother got cancer the same time as mine, but his mother died and mine survived. It was crazy back then. When I was like 10, already had the mental strength more than many grown men. This was a couple years after my stepdad left. Did he really know the crazy mess that he left? Because mum done recover from the lumps in her neck, but being poor and alone couldn't cope with the stress. My big sis fought, so much so, now I hadn't left school. When she left home, I was 13 by now, still a little kid, innocent. Next couple years though, will turn him to a militant. That is the result of no food in the fridge. And every other day you're getting searched by the pigs. Plus these patronizing teachers though, my grade's sick, trying to emasculate me, yeah, turn me to a Anna. Don't mean a woman, please let me be clear. I mean a spineless man, because what do they fear? More than a working class brown male with a brain. When our energy is harnessed, everything changed. Look at Pac, look at Marley, look at Hendrix, look at Garvey. This is the potential that is wasted on a daily basis. A racist, classist world that we're living. Still we coming for nothing and we educate millions. I see why it scares you. It's like, how dare you overcome obstacles that we have been careful to place in your way every step of the way. In this so-called democracy where kids get sprayed, blacks and the Asians, Turks and the chavs, crowded in council flats, living like ants. And who's more confused than so-called white trash, talking this madness about they want their country back? It never was yours. You should read more. What they did to brown people, they did to their own poor. But people's memory short, so much that I'm seeing black and Asian kids cuss Eastern Europeans. No pot to piss in.
All right, so I'll go back a little bit. A few things I want to, before we go into it. It's already been through a lot. One, I love how Akala gets to you on a personal level. Like how he's talking about, you know, all the struggles he went through as a kid and how his mom struggled, you know, to pay bills and to, you know, all this other stuff, especially with her having cancer and, you know, everything else. So, you know, I can relate to a lot of that on a personal level, so it's kind of cool to hear, you know, a rapper talk about something that, you know, you can relate to, and that rage I feel in my stomach. You want to know the rage I feel in my stomach? You know, I mean, I can understand that rage. You know, everyone you ever cared for left you. Everyone, you know, that you trusted left or stabbed you in the back or betrayed you. And you're left alone. And in your time of need, the people you thought would be there are gone. So, yeah, I can relate. I can relate to that. Let's see. And then it goes down to, let's see. When our energy is harnessed, everything changed. Look at Pac, Marley, Hendrix, and Garvey. This is the potential that is wasted on a daily basis. A racist, classist world that we live in. Still, we coming from nothing, and we educate millions. Like, and then, like, if you go down and you talk about, where is it? Talking this madness, and they want their country back. It never was yours. You should read more. Now, a thing there, United States, this did not originally belong to, you know, white people or American people or anything like that. It was originally, you know, belonged to the Native Americans. And due to a, you know, widespread of disease when the Spaniards came over, it wiped out a huge majority of Native Americans. But then, you know, whenever the British, or not British, whenever Columbus and his band of immigrants came over, you know, it, you know, whenever they saw that there wasn't many people around, they decided to colonize it. So, you know, I mean, I don't know how it was with Britain or anything like that, but, like, you know, but it got to the point where now it's like, you know, it is classist. I mean, it really is. It's sad to see. It really is. Anyway, let me back up a little bit and dive back into it. All right, let's go.
Back. It never was yours. You should read more. What they did to brown people, they did to their own poor. But people's memory is short. So much that I'm seeing black and Asian kids cuss Eastern Europeans. No pot to piss in makes competition. I fail to see how this is an effective system when cats and dogs in America and Britain eat better food than most of humanity, and we spend our technology only on killing. How is this more than sophisticated savagery? It was once said, the world is a stage, each person just an actor with a part to play, like the middle class kids and kids of the rich that have everything, but yet still they pissed on they coke and ketamine, strung out on. I ain't generalizing, look at the evidence, so go to Glastonbury any year, you will see. But unlike Carnival, it won't be crawling with police, this is London. The kids on the very next street had a very different life experience from me. And in my experience, they can't help but be smug after a lifetime of what they think's just good luck. But they're still more anxious and more thankless. Unearned privilege weighs like an anchor, that's why they copy what we do, trying to be what they not. They will grow up though and get better jobs and maintain a system that they claim that they hated. They can't fight against, they got a stake in this matrix. Hip-hop is just a fad to them. You didn't know? But for us, this is our living, breathing soul. And yeah, they might backpack in South America or even volunteer in an African village. But all said and done, when push comes to shove and hits the fan of middle class and British, and I ain't even dissing. That's just how it is. Most rich brown people are just as full of shit. So much more concerned with our cars and jewels than most of the world's poor looks just like you. So much more concerned with being privileged few. And who knows, maybe me too, because absolute power corrupts absolutely, but absolute powerlessness does the same. It's not the poverty, it's the inequality we live with every day that will turn us insane. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, but absolute powerlessness does the same. It's not the poverty, it's the inequality we live with every day that will turn us insane.
Who's bad? Akala's in the building, man!
Okay, so now it's over. Now it's over. Okay. But hey, I got another 10-minute video out of it, so that's good. But anyway, one thing I want to talk about here is, like, how people that come from a privileged home you know, though they may go through their own struggles, they still will normally live a better life than most. Uh, you know, depending on the household in which they grow up in. Like the biggest problem they have is maybe their parents aren't around, you know, or yeah, that there are those that, you know, have abusive parents and everything like that, but a basic home normally only has to deal with, you know, the parents not being around. And I remember there was this friend of mine, and you know, he always it was kind of funny actually, because the things he would complain about, you know, and I thought it was funny because he thought his life was so difficult. And the things he was going through, I would gladly trade, because at that time I was going through some tough shit, and I would have gladly traded it because, like, I think one thing was like he was having problems with getting you know, a stable relationship, and that was making him depressed. And you know, I'm like, dude, really? That's what you're depressed about? Well, don't get me wrong, you know, that's what you're complaining about? Why do you care about being in a relationship at fucking 15? You know, I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, you know, I mean, let's face it. What high school relationship normally... Now, there are those few high school relationships that move on past high school. You know, I've had a few friends, you know, that had a relationship coming out of high school and now they're married. You know, I understand. There are those few. But a majority of people, what fucking, you know, relationship works in high school? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it's crazy. And like they're complaining about because they didn't get like a certain thing for lunch, or they didn't get, you know, something else, you know. And it's like, dude, you're complaining about that, at least you have something to eat. You know, I went days at a time without having food, you know. I mean, things are different. And though I can't really say much because, you know, I was never in their shoes, so I know that there's probably more difficulty than what I'm seeing. But you know, I mean, learn to, you know, be grateful for the things you have, no matter how small. You know, be grateful that you have a roof over your head, that you have food on your table, that you have power, that you have electricity, that you well, I mean, power, electricity, same damn thing. But, like, you know, you have internet, you have fucking TV and everything. Be grateful for all of that, because you may not be able to get the small stuff, but at least you have that. You know, a lot of people don't. Hell, I didn't. You know, up until recently. And like, whenever I first started posting YouTube videos, about 8 months ago, 9 months ago, something like that. Before that, I never had internet. I never had a computer. I did have TV, but it was like basic cable. I spent most of my time watching VHS tapes. Yeah, you guys remember those? VHS tapes of like old Disney movies and stuff, you know, and you know, going a couple of days without food, and you know, having to drink nasty ass water out of a sink, you know, that tasted like shit, but you know, at least, you know, he had something to drink. But I mean, things are hard for a lot of people. So no matter how bad you think you have it right now, just remember that it could always be worse, and that many people have it worse. And you shouldn't take things like that for granted, you know? So you gotta be grateful. Otherwise, it'll just drive you crazy. Anyway, thank all of you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure you leave that like down below. Be sure you subscribe if you're not already. If you would like to see Akala Fire in the Booth Part 3, then be sure you comment down below, and I will definitely get to it as soon as possible. Probably sometime in the next few days. Probably Friday. I'll probably do Akala Fire in the Booth Part 3 if you guys want me to. And I will see all of you guys in the next video. See ya.